Well, we can see that at least at the beginning, as we talk to people and we look at the surveys this year, we're seeing that people are really looking at this year being an awful lot like last year. That it's going to be relatively slow growth, and we're going to continue to see improvements, but it's going to be slow going. The one negative that we saw was that there was a little bit of a retrenchment in the growth of exports. So the problems that are happening in Europe, the problems that are happening in China, are affecting our ability to send things overseas.
I wanted to look at consumer confidence. I know last year we had said it was going to be the highest in 5 years. That's always a good thing. Speak to consumer confidence.
Well, consumers have been sort of on a roller coaster this year, and there's been improving confidence, but we haven't seen it show up as much in retail sales. So people are a little bit more confident, but it's not translating into more purchases yet. And part of that is that there's a little bit of uncertainty this year about healthcare. There's a little bit of uncertainty this year about their taxes. There's a little bit of uncertainty this year about federal spending. And all of that results in people saying, well, maybe I'm going to hang on to a little bit of cash for a little while.
And then the growth. I know that it's predicted to be sort of like last year, and we kind of hit the target. Right. What is the projected growth for this year?
Well, we're looking at about 2% for employment growth across the West Michigan region, and about 2.5% for sales growth. And that's not bad, and it's still running a little bit ahead of the U.S. projections for both of those.
I noticed in there too that you said you mentioned healthcare, how that's going to be slowing a little bit. Talk about that.
Yeah, what we can see right now in the healthcare industry is because of uncertainty about how the new regulations that will be coming through as a result of the healthcare laws are going to affect them. They're being very conservative on their hiring, and they're taking a wait-and-see posture to see what actually happens. And that means that we see slower growth this year as a result.
What is your main message then as you look at everything overall? What will be your main point to tell people for this next year locally?
Well, that the consumers have made themselves solid again. Their balance sheet is looking like it should, and they're comfortable in spending within their means. So the growth we have is sustainable. And we have a big problem out there with the U.S. government in that it is creating a large level of uncertainty. And this uncertainty is resulting in corporations and banks not lending or spending the money that they should or would normally do at this point in a recovery. And that's taking 1% to 2% out of the growth of the U.S. this year. The faster that uncertainty can get resolved, the faster we'll see ourselves get back to the old normal.
You may have already answered it, but anything that can be done to better things this year? Any action that can be taken?
Well, we see that even a bad plan on how to handle the deficit is better than no plan right now. The uncertainty, the slowdown as a result of uncertainty right now is bigger than the slowdown of a bad plan. And so we need to get something in place. It needs to happen relatively soon. And if we fight about it all year long, the uncertainty is going to be there all year long, and we're not going to see any growth. That's the number one thing we can do right now, because the consumers are primed, businesses have the capital that they need, and we're starting to see some warm up in some of the countries outside of the United States. So everything is primed if we can get rid of this uncertainty.
And finally, how about employment for the person that's needing a job, looking for a job, feels unstable with their job in the West Michigan area?
Well, we're going to see more jobs. The key is whether your skill lines up with those jobs. And right now we're seeing employers having the luxury to wait for the perfect employee. And so if you don't line up with that, you're going to have to keep looking. We're seeing right now that people are retraining, they're getting skills, and they're adjusting their skills and moving into jobs. But all of that takes time. And so the good news is we'll see more jobs. The bad news is we won't be back to where we were before all this began.